friends, welcome back to my channel. It's great joy to share so much of knowledge with you guys, and today we are going to share the knowledge of startup visas. And so far we have discussed for Canada's visa, Germany's job seekers visa and student visa, work permit visa, for Australian visa, Australian PR visa, Canada's PR visa, and international experience visa also. And today we are going to discuss immigrate with startup visa, and this is also one of the pathway that you can enter into Canada. But the processing time takes a lot of time for this. So without wasting much time, let us get into today's topic, startup visa. Before which, please do like my videos and share my channel for all of your friends, those who are looking for immigrations. And yeah, thanks for all who subscribed my channel. Let us get into today's topic. The startup visa is a temporary conditions resident permits in different countries, and it aims at introducing a visa category for entrepreneur or raising outside funding, and converts to permanent resident visa if certain conditions are met. So this is the website, that canada.ca, immigrate with startup visa. About the process, the Canada startup visas programs targets immigrant entrepreneurs with the skills and potentials to build business in Canada that should be innovative and can create jobs for Canadians, and compete on global side also. If you have an innovative business idea, if you can support for business ideas from one of the designated organizations, and you may be immigrate to Canada. And upcoming classes, I'll be definitely discussing with you what are the business that you can start up, what are the criteria that it is there to start up and all. In today's topics, we will discuss the fee structure, that is to $2,140, that if you can convert to Indian money, it comes around 1,80,000 something. This fees increased on April 30, 2022, and the processing times of 32 months. You may need to give a biometrics with your applicants. This process time includes the time you need to give your biometrics also. So this is the overall understanding of about the process. And who can apply? I just click on this, and who can apply is the eligible for the startup visa is have a qualified business. You should have a qualified business. If you're already running a business, then you can move to Canada and start doing it. Let's say if you are having export business, import business, on other businesses, like get a letter from the designated organization, meet the language requirement. You should have write IELTS exam for this, and meet language requirements, and bring enough money settlements. This part is very, very important. I'll discuss with you. And have a qualified businesses. Qualified business means you create a business that meets the following conditions. At the time you get a commitment from the designated organization. Each applicant hold 10% more than voting rights attached to all the shares and corporations outstanding at the time. Up to 5 people can apply as owners, and the applicant and designated organization jointly and more than 50% of the total voting rights and attached to all shares of the corporation outstanding at the time. So if you have a people along with you, 5 to 10 members can join together and start the startup visa. So each can put little amount, so that it will become so easy for you to start a business there in Canada. At the time you receive your permanent residence, and you provide active and ongoing management this business from with Canada. An essential part of this this operations of business happens in Canada. This business is incorporated in Canada. You have to get a letter from for support from designated organization. They have listed this designations organization here, and you must get a letter from designation organization, contact the designation organization to find how to get it a support, and convince the organization that you have a business idea that is worth supporting, and get a letter supports from the designated organizations. This process to pitch your idea is a designated different for each organization and each organization has its own requirement. For example, you may be asked to present your business concept in person, or submit a detailed business plan. If you reach an agreement with a designated organizations, it will send you a letter of support. You need to include this letter when you submit your applications to us, and this is the proof you need to show that the venture capital funds and angels and investors groups or business incubators in supporting your business ideas. This organizations will also send a commitment certificate directly to us, and we will use both your letters and support the organization's commitment certificates to access your applications. Please note, we may ask you for more business information in order to take final decision on your applications. If you don't include the letter support or meet any other requirement, we will refuse your applications. So I hope you have understood. You should get a business letter and the commitment certificates from the designated organization. We will discuss this later. Meet the language requirements, that ability to communicate, to work in English or French or both language will help your business succeed in Canada. You must take a language test in an approved agency, and include the results with your applications, or we won't proceed it. You must meet the minimum level of Canadian language bench of CLB 5 in either language or French in all of these 4 areas: speaking, reading, listening and writing. And use for rest find your CLB levels, and if you don't meet the minimum language skills, we will refuse your application. So make sure at least you should be having a 5.5 band. That will help you. Bring enough money to settle. The government of Canada does not give financial support to new startup visa immigrants. When you apply, you will need to get proof that you have the money to support yourself and your dependent after you arrive in Canada. So you can't borrow this money from another person also, and this amount you need to depend on the size of your family. We update these amounts every year. So Indian currency, this 13,310 rupees is an 8 lakhs change, and every one person you add, then 3,000 rupees they'll increase 3,586 rupees. So accordingly you have to arrange your money. So how much money should you bring? Find how much your family people are coming along with. Our next thing is how to apply. So I'll just go click on how to apply. So first you need to give your biometrics. In this cases you need to give your fingerprints and photo, and after applying find out where biometrics will be given. Get the applications package and pay your applications fees and submit your applications. So you can now apply online. If you can click here, it will redirect to next page. We will check that later. Get the applications package. The applications package for startup visa includes instructions, guides and document list. So first we'll check with the something immigration applicant can now apply online. So this is the instructions part, and they'll give which are the visas are allowed to apply for. That is a IMM 008 and an IMM 5669, and additional family IMM 5406. Supplementary informations, your travel IM 5562. This is the forms that you have to fill. That will be there in the PDF. And we'll understand provisional nominee programs, non-express entry and rural northern immigrations pilot, agri-food pilot and Atlantic immigrations program, startup visa. These are the visa categories that you can apply. Applications for permanent resident business immigrations program and startup business class is IMM 5758. This is the visa processing, how to you have to fill the applications, stuff like that. And this is the commitment. This we'll discuss later. Okay, so fill out the applications. We have discussed the applications part also. Click the validations button. With that you have done, and complete the document checklist. So what are the documents that you should be having? Check off each item. Please identifications and supporting document is sealed in enveloped, and print out the document checklist and sign it. Include the document checklist. So medical examinations, police certificates and language test, these are the three party documents is mandatory, and this is the checklist actually. Okay, you should have all this documents ready with you. Done. Next, after you apply, what is next? After you apply, you will get a fingerprints and photo taken. How to access your applications, processing time, medical exam, police clearance, decisions on your applications, and get your fingerprints. That is 14 to 17, 9 years old. You should do that. And temporary changes to biometrics. How we access your startup visa? After you apply, we will verify that that you have filled out your application forms correctly and signed them, paid your processing fees, and including all required documents. If you forget something, your applications won't be processed and will be sent back to you. Processing time, you may be able to avoid delays by telling the visa office about any changes that to your personal information, such as your address, telephone number or email address, and birth of child, and not contracting the visa office more than once about the same issues. Your applications will be delayed if there are criminal or security problems, or we need to do more background checks, and your family situation is not clear. Reason could include a divorce or an adoption that is not yet completed, or a child custody issues that have not been resolved. The visa office has to contract other visa offices in Canada or abroad to verify the data you gave. The check the status of your applications after visa office has started the process. Medical exam, you must be knowing this medical exam is very, very important for all of the Canada's process, like PR or international experience candidate, or for startup visas. Medical exam is very, very important once you get an invitation letter. Police clearance, though so easy, you can get this. That is also done. Decision on your application. Meet the eligibility criteria, have enough money to support your business, yourself and your family. That's all. Confirmation is permanent residence. If we approve your applications, we will issue the permanent resident visa. This visa includes your confirmations of permanent residence and your entry visa. Your COPR will have informations about you. So next is prepare to arrive. Okay, so if you are already in Canada, we will contact you about next steps. If you will have to start interview with an immigration officers, you have to have two options for your interview. Make appointment at one of our office in Canada, best option, and go to Canadian portal or entry border crossing and present proof that you have a fund to support yourself and your family, your confirmations on permanent resident CORP and your permanent resident visa. If we give you one during the interview, the officers will make you sure your documents are valid and ask you few questions. Make sure you still meet the terms in immigrations Canada, and confirm your Canadian mailing address so we can mail you permanent resident card PR. and if you are outside Canada, you need to use Arrive Can, and that Arrive Can to provide mandatory travel informations required for entry to into Canada. Make sure you are using the newest version of Arrive Can. If you previously submitted your information using older versions of Arrive Can, you must download them latest versions and resubmit your informations. When you arrive in Canada, you will be greeted by the officers and Canada Border Service agencies, and when you arrive, you must have valid passport and travel documents. Your passport must be regular private passport. You cannot immigrate to Canada with diplomatic, government service, public officers passport, valid permanent resident visa, and your confirmations of permanent resident CORP. The officers will make sure you are entering Canada before an expiry date shows on your visa. These documents cannot be extended. The proof that you have enough money to support yourself and your family after you arrive in Canada. The officers will ask you few questions to make sure you still meet eligibility requirement and immigrant to Canada. So you won't be allowed in Canada if you give false or incomplete informations. If you don't convince the officers that you meet the conditions to Canada. Disclose the funds that we have already discussed, that arrive to Canada with more than 10,000 Canadian dollar. You must tell this to the CBSA officers. If you don't, you cannot be filled and found. Your funds cannot be seized. The fund could be in terms of cash and security that belongs to you. For example, stocks, bonds, and debentures, treasury bills, and banks drafts, bankers drafts, and checks, and travelers checks, and money orders. So, what you can bring to Canada, borders to travel and see. We will discuss those parts in upcoming classes. Next is temporary work permit. Last is that you have to have a temporary work permit. This guide explains how you can apply for short-term work permit under the International Mobility Program before submitting an application or permanent resident under the Startup Visa Program. Only foreign nationals who have received the commitment certificates and letter of support and designated entity may be consolidated for short-term work permit, and the designated entity must support the request for the work permit. If you meet the eligibility requirement, you can apply for work permit, and you do not need to apply for permanent resident first. So eligibility requirements are: to eligible for work permit, you must plan to live in province to territory other than Quebec, pay the employer compliance fees, and have received a commitment certificate and letter of support and designated entity. And we will discuss this in different classes because it requires detailed information and separate session for all these things, so that you will not get confused. So before submitting applications for work permit, you must submit your self-employed offer of employment, as well as pay 2,230 employers compliance fees. Submit your offices of employment and pay the employers compliance fees. If your business has required for Canadian Revenue Agency business phone number, follow the instruction and section 4.0. If your business has not yet registered for Canada Revenue Agency business number, we will discuss all those things in upcoming classes. And submit your offers of employment and pay the fees through the employer portal. So that's all for the day, friends. I hope you have understood. We will understand how to get a commitment certificate, letter of support certificate, or designated entity. These are the separate classes we will discuss. That's all for the day. Do like my videos and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.